It's good to be back again, June the 26th, 2010, with the Glastonbury Festival on again, Con. And I was actually listening to the radio on Friday on Radio 5 Live, and they said there were three big events on this weekend. Obviously the World Cup, Wimbledon and Glastonbury. Now, where they met the festival are Johnny Carr and the Cadillacs returning back to Glastonbury Town Hall again for the second time in 2 years after a break of 40 years. It could very well have been that. I don't know how you feel about that.
Merv, I would think it probably was that. I would like to think it was anyway. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, really? Yeah.
But seriously, it is great to be back
because
we worked this hall, many times in the 60s, as you know.
Yeah,
many
absolutely.
times. And it does bring back a whole lot of memories, and the people are so nice and friendly. Were then and still are today.
Yeah.
And we enjoy.
That's right, of course.
Enjoy working.
Of course we do. Yeah. And going back to those years gone by, which I suppose going back to those early 60s, could you tell everybody about when you went to Hamburg and the Kaiser Club over there, the story behind that?
Yeah, well, that was, we were just four or five Bristol lads, all in our late teens, not mid-teens. I was 17, the other guys were 18. And what we'd done up until that point, it was just August 61, we worked in Glastonbury, we worked Street, we worked Bridgewater, we worked around Bristol, of course, and we were quite well known within the area. But that was about it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, the contract came up 6 weeks in the Kaiser Keller in Hamburg, and so we went for it. We went over there. And we were there in August 1961.
Yeah.
And the Beatles, it's true, were there in July 1961. And that's what we did, and we was, a big move from here to there.
It's been stated in the press in times gone by that you did Twist and Shout before the Beatles did. Was that a true story?
Well, Mervyn, you see, Mervyn's a very knowledgeable guy on music, but this is an actual fact. I don't have to sort of make any nuances, because this is the fact. Twist and Shout was originally done by the Isley Brothers. They originally an American band. In actual fact, did Shout first, which Lulu later covered. They were the originals to do Shout, and then they followed it up with Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
So we covered, as we were covers.
That's right.
We covered Shout, and we covered Twist and Shout. So yes, it would be, we would, like the Beatles did. That wasn't the Beatles, as you know. They covered Twist and Shout, so yes. Certainly we wouldn't have done it any later.
No.
But it wasn't necessarily, I don't think we had any influence in the Isley Brothers, who in my view still have the superior, the quite authentic, superior version. And that's not to knock the Beatles. Beatles were absolutely were unbelievable. Their talent's unbelievable. But a few of their covers, I thought, there were some others that they covered as well on their first albums.
That's right.
They were the same, they really were the same as us. I mean, then.
Yeah, exactly.
They had some original tunes, clearly they were doing. And to be frank, we had some we were doing as well, but we were mainly a covers band. And to some extent, they were mainly I'm talking now in 1960.
Of course.
They were covering, Elvis tunes and Chuck Berry tunes and Little Richard tunes, and they would Paul McCartney, I'm sure, if you could get close to him, would say that is what I know he would say.
Yeah, that's right.
So no, I don't think it would be right to say that we had any impact. It would be the Isley Brothers, certainly.
Yeah. But when you had your first recording contract, how did you feel about that?
That was great times.
It was.
That was great. Going up to London.
Yeah.
But still, don't forget, these times, it's probably hard for people to understand. Maybe now.
Yeah, of course.
But in those times.
That's right.
London was.
It was a place to be.
To go in the late, in the 60s, to go to London, to meet the agents. So everything happened. I mean, even Brian Epstein, didn't he? He had to go to London.
Right.
I know that changed when the Beatles and all the rest followed through. But initially, he had to go down.
Of course.
I mean, they did all the recording, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
In London,
That's
the
right,
Beatles did. So London, and so for us at 18, 19, go to London and then record our first record, which was called Remember That Night. And that was a self-pen. Penned by two of the guys.
That's right.
Merv Alexander and Ray Truscott, two of the Cadillacs. They penned it, and that was our first single. That was released in '62.
Right.
And it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah, wasn't it? Of course, then you had Do You Love That Girl?
That was later.
Which is probably the most successful record you made, wasn't it?
That was our hit. Yeah, that was our. When I say hit, it made the top 30.
Yeah.
That was the best.
It was.
Successful. That was written by Les Reed,
Yeah.
who wrote a whole load of
Numerous
tunes.
hits, didn't he? Yeah.
He's a massive,
Hundreds, wasn't he? Yeah.
massive.
Hundreds of hits.
We just an interesting. I mean, we went out to we went to see Les Reed, and he gave us some tunes. Les Reed and Barry Mason wrote
That's
"Do You
right.
Love That Girl"
Yeah.
for us. And he was reasonable. He was a reasonably presented man. I'm talking about in 60. Hang on, just get the years. 63 probably. 62, 63.
Yeah.
And he was fine. He was great. Just an ordinary car and whatever, an ordinary sort of guy, but a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And then he wrote "It's Not Unusual" in the interim.
For Tom Jones.
For Tom, the next time,
Yeah.
I think he had some. The next time he saw me, he had a sort of a brand new Jag and a sort of, his,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's a change.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying at the time we were driving around London, I remember him saying, because it was Gordon Mills who found
That's right.
Tom Jones.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to me, what a find. What a find to
Yeah.
go to drive around Wales as Gordon Mills did or whatever,
That's right.
and find Tom Jones. He said, what? Les was, I remember him saying, what a find. At the time I thought, well, you've got me, Les, but
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
but I do understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand then because
No.
I understand he was a great performer.
Yeah.
But I've come to learn that, of course, Tom Jones is,
Yeah, of course.
is a sensational.
Of course, he's
sensation.
absolutely
And
right.
Les Reed and those others,
Yeah.
Gordon Mills, others,
Of course.
saw that at the time.
Yeah,
Like
that's
what a
right.
diamond, he said, to have found Tom Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened? I mean, Tom Jones obviously when it's Not Unusual made the charts, and you made the charts then with "Do You Love That Girl." Did you change your car then, or you still?
No, we didn't.
You didn't.
Merv, we
It didn't affect you that much.
It didn't. No. It was a very fleeting sort of hit. We were struggling really, to be frank,
Yeah.
to keep going because there's a lot of overheads, as you know, income tax and whatever. And
Yeah,
for,
that's right.
Equipment to it's hard. It was even now. I understand it's even more expensive. I say I understand.
Yeah.
We're still doing it,
Yeah.
but we're not exactly starting.
No.
But then it was still, expensive with transport and the rest. So we just about kept going.
Yeah. But after obviously you thought you were going to get a lot of hits in those, or thought you might have got a few hits in those days. Do you ever get to the stage where you felt like packing it all in because nothing was happening? Or
Yeah,
not?
well, we did. Yeah, well, I did. We did.
Yeah.
We got married and children. And, in the mid-70s,
Yeah.
10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, it wasn't going to happen. It didn't happen. And other pressures,
Yeah, that's right. So what made you come back?
Well, the guys got together and said, let's
they?
do it in the mid-80s.
Yeah.
And just said, let's have a go. So we did. And
Yeah.
we've sort of plodded on ever since.
Yeah. Still enjoying it.
Yeah. The music's great, and so I still very much enjoy the music.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting any younger, are they?
That's right,
Except
absolutely.
for Mervyn. Mervyn's oldest. Well, no, you've still got a vitality, which is good.
We talked about that.
It's good.
Yeah. But anyway, it's always great to have you back. And I mean, after tonight, again, obviously we want to get you back again next time. And tonight, I'm sure with the Moondogs, who, as I say, are an excellent band.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to get the two of you back together again.
Beatles covers, aren't they? Beatles
Yeah.
covers. I've just heard one or two they did.
Yeah,
Good.
they're
Very good.
So
Very
they are
good.
good. Yeah. So hopefully everything goes well tonight, and then perhaps next time we'll do it possibly more like the winter time than what we would during the summer. I think it's probably we picked the wrong date this weekend with the Glastonbury Festival going on. It was a gamble that may not have been the best gamble in the world to have taken, but yeah, but I'm sure it will. So let's hope we have a good night tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant. Thanks, Con.
Mervyn, thank you.
Great,
That
brilliant.
was great.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you. Thanks, Mervyn.